Howdy there folks, Connie here from Markey Industries. Hope you're all doing well. I'm reading some more Reddit stories today, so sit back, relax and enjoy. Cheers. My husband threw away all my food because I'm a cow. We've been married for 6 years and together for 9 years. 2 college kids who fell in love and decided to build a life together. I recently gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, 14 weeks old, who's my entire world. I've suffered through 3 miscarriages and experienced several complications during pregnancy. I was on bed rest for 3 months and had to go through over 20 hours of labour before the doctors performed an emergency C-section. But our daughter was born healthy and happy, and all that pain was worth it. I had gained about 30 pounds during my pregnancy. I was 5'7", 121 pounds prior. After giving birth, I gained another 10 pounds since I've been breastfeeding, and my body has been craving calorie-dense foods. Not junk food, just 70% minimum cacao chocolate, stuff like plantain chips, meats, dairies, nuts, etc. The doctor told me that I should listen to my body's needs and feed myself whatever I felt like I needed. My husband has been helpful. He was happy when he learned the gender, took care of me and accommodated all my needs during my bed rest. Postpartum, however, he started to make up excuses to not help with the baby. He hasn't been as affectionate with our daughter as I hoped he would be. He made a few negative comments about my weight here and there, like, "You're a bit chubby, and today's a good day to work out and shed some pounds." I was an extremely active woman who worked out 4 to 5 times a week and indulged in dangerous and adventurous activities, but now I'm completely exhausted. I can barely get out of bed. I've collapsed 5 times, and I'm stressed out, and at the same time I have to take care of our baby and the household. The other day, my husband had already gone to work and I went to the kitchen and found all my food gone. Every single bag, box, package, everything. I called him crying to inquire where all my food is, and he told me that he threw everything out because I need to start losing weight. I hung up on him and called my best friend so she could bring me some food that I needed from the store. Afterwards, my husband came home, and when he saw the food that she had brought, he threw everything outside and smashed everything with his foot. I was furious with him, and I was screaming and yelling at him for being a selfish POS, and he called me an effing cow while throwing some of the crushed packages at me and ended with punching a hole in the door. I called my brother who picked me and my baby up, and I'm now staying at his place. His mother, sister, and even my own mother are all defending him, and that I have to lose weight and apologise to him for my postpartum breakdown. I guess I'm just not sure if this is good grounds to file for divorce, or should I listen to my mother? Is this how all men are wired? Wait, what? The family are saying she has to apologise for her breakdown? Sounds like the husband had a breakdown and needs to apologise. Let's go to the comments. You need to get out now, and this is definitely a ground for divorce. Unfortunately, women are more at risk of being victims of domestic violence during pregnancy and postpartum. How old is your baby? Get out of this abusive relationship. This guy's an absolute madman, and you need to find a way out of this. It doesn't even matter at this point whether or not you need to lose the weight. He is not caring, he is not loving, he is selfish, he doesn't care about the child, he doesn't care about you, he is abusing you. Please don't raise a child in this situation, because if this continues, he could treat your baby this way. Look at it this way. Imagine this post was written by someone you didn't know. Reread everything you wrote and see it from the outside. No, not all men are wired this way. In fact, the majority aren't. This man is a complete arse. You don't need to justify your eating habits to us. Even if you were eating absolute garbage, his behaviour would still be demonic. If you really want to lose a few pounds, do so while running away from that psycho. He has gotten physical with inanimate things, and it's a way an abuser can manipulate the situation to put fear in you by show or force without laying a hand on you. He is withholding food and being verbally abusive on top of it. Do you want your daughter to see this, or even worse if you stay around it? You didn't say how recent you had your baby, just newborn, and I'm worried this is even worse than I believe if you're not even that long postpartum. You can't hurt yourself, and your body still needs to heal from everything. They say you don't really get truly back to pre-pregnancy normalish until a year or 2 sometimes. A lot happens to you in that process. How is your brother in this, or is he withholding opinion? I'm glad he took you in. Okay, let's go to the update. Thank you guys for the comments on my previous post. However, even though I really wanted to follow everyone's advice about weight, eating and divorcing, my mother still got in my head, and because I've always obeyed her, I listened and went back to my husband. He did say that he was sorry for calling me an effing cow, but he said he was only being honest and said, and I quote, "Isn't honesty the most important foundation of a happy and healthy relationship?" And I thought he was right. So I started cutting back on my food and eating low-calorie foods, but problems almost immediately arose. My energy levels dropped and my milk supply diminished quickly. I must have collapsed at least 4 times during that period, and 3 days ago, at night, the baby was crying non-stop, and my husband got angry and yelled at me to make her stop. I told him that I wasn't producing enough milk due to lack of food, and he literally said, "Cows eat grass and produce gallons of milk. What are you, a meat cow?" That's when I decided to take my daughter while I was shushing her and letting her breastfeed whatever drops of milk I had there, and once my husband fell asleep, I left the house and came to my best friend, who welcomed me in and told me I can stay here as long as I needed to. I didn't go to my brother because I didn't trust him anymore, since he also told me that I should work things out with my husband. I already filed for divorce and cut off contact with his family and my own mother. My best friend and her fiancé have been helping me a lot by taking care of my baby while I was resting, and my best friend would bring whatever I needed from the store. My milk supply has returned to normal, and I haven't collapsed once. I've probably had more rest for these 3 days than I've had in a month. I'm going to attempt to get full custody and supervised visits from the father, but my best friend's fiancé said that it might be difficult to do without evidence, and I do have at least some evidence because we of course have cameras inside our house, and they recorded everything. It may not be enough, but fingers crossed. But the Reddit advice has helped me a lot, and I appreciate all the help. Okay folks, so that's the end of that story. Yeah, crazy that the husband doubled down and still kept saying horrible things like that. Must suck, just having a baby and then finding out that your partner is an abusive piece of crap. He also clearly knows nothing about cows. What do you guys think about this one? Let me know in the comments, and we'll go to our next story. Okay, this next one's from the same subreddit. It was written by user Illustrious Blood, and it's titled, "I saw videos of my fiancée cheating during her bachelorette party. I can't believe I'm involved in a story like this. I haven't actually talked to anyone about what happened, even though a lot of people are trying. I think I just need to vent a little bit before I talk to anyone. My girlfriend and I were together 4 years, and we were engaged to be married. Last weekend she had her bachelorette party. I didn't have a problem with it, especially after what she told me was the plan. Her and her friends were going to rent an Airbnb or something, a big place with like 4 bedrooms, and they were just going to get trashed and party and hang out. The day of the party, she was at my place, a 2-bedroom apartment. One room I use as a home office. I'm a self-employed investor. She makes all of the arrangements and goes to meet her friends. We texted a little, but as the party warmed up, we stopped, and I figured they were just having fun. After midnight, I start getting ready for bed and notice that the computer in my office isn't turned off. Rather, the black screen was just a screensaver. It turns out fiancé had not logged out, and her messenger was still open on the computer. There was a group chat where her and the girls had been planning everything, and a lot of videos were uploaded to the chat. I was a little curious, and I started watching some of the videos. Most of them were pretty innocent, just a group of 15 girls getting drunk and stoned and dancing and whatever. Then there was a video of a woman going to the front door, and about 10 guys enter the apartment. I don't know who they were, and I didn't recognize anyone. There were a couple of videos of the guys and girls dancing and drinking, and then the worst happened. A video started of my fiancée making out with a guy on the sofa. She stops and rolls over and starts making out with the second guy. Then there was a video of her and the 2 guys going into a bedroom. There was also a video of them coming out that, according to the timestamps, was 5 minutes later, but that doesn't mean anything. For all I know, the videos were an hour apart, and they were all just uploaded at the same time. Seeing all of this was like a sledgehammer to the gut. I walked into the bathroom because I thought I'd be sick. I wasn't, but I feel like I paced back and forth in the apartment for about 30 minutes. Then I poured myself a rocks glass full of whiskey and chugged it down. I saved the videos and then made one of my own. Just a short little selfie video of me saying, "Hi, this is OP, your ex-fiancé. Just wanted to say I saw the videos from the party and the wedding is off. I hope it was worth it." I'm glad I saved the videos, because in less than 10 minutes they were all deleted and my phone started blowing up, but I didn't answer any calls or texts. At first it was just my girlfriend texting saying she can explain and it's not what it looked like. Then her friends joined in, but I ignored everyone and didn't respond. Then suddenly I got a request for a video chat, and I'll admit my curiosity got the better of me. I answered the call but didn't say anything. It was my fiancée sitting in front of the camera, and she looked like she'd been crying, and the other friends just around her. I really only know maybe 4 of the friends, but I recognise a lot of the others. First she started apologising but kept saying it wasn't what it looked like, it was just a party, and the guys coming over was not planned or anything like that. She said it might have looked bad but nothing happened. When I didn't say anything, she just kept going on with more of the same, and her friends backed her up. The more I didn't speak, the more hysterical she got. Eventually she admitted to kissing the 2 guys, but dumped the blame on her friends, who all took responsibility for that, which surprised me a little. She said the kisses didn't mean anything, and that's all that happened. Then she seemed to remember the video of her going into the bedroom, and she started screaming that it was just a joke, and nothing happened. All the other women confirmed it was just a joke, and that my fiancé had walked into the room, and then turned around and walked out again. This just kept going on, and they just kept repeating themselves. Eventually everyone got quiet, and all I said was, "Is there anything else to add?" She said no, and I just ended the video call. I went onto social media and changed my relationship status to single, and posted that the wedding was off, and if anyone had bought a present they should feel free to return it. Fiancé saw the post and is freaking out even more, and just keeps insisting that all she did was kiss and nothing else. I sent her a text saying if I suspect that her or any of her friends lie about what happened, or try to make me the bad guy, then I'll post all the videos online. Right now, no one else knows what is happening. This was a couple of days ago, and everything for the wedding is cancelled, and my fiancé just keeps pursuing me. Any advice on what I should do from here? Wow, what a nightmare. Let's go to the comments. You made the right call. Her friends are on her side, right or wrong. You'll never get the full truth. No reason to put yourself through any more pain and drama. I think you made the right choice. I personally think she doesn't deserve a second chance because she's not taking accountability. She's blaming her friends for her actions. No one held a gun to her head and made her cheat. If you want to verify if more did or did not happen, demand the original videos of her entering and leaving the bedroom. These timestamps should tell you. If she refuses or makes excuses why they can't provide the footage, this also gives you your answer. Yeah, that's a good strategy, I think. Let's go to the update. The update is pretty simple. Everything has been called off and cancelled. The wedding is officially not happening. I got the ring back and all of her stuff has moved out. She is staying with her parents for now. We did talk a little bit. It was mostly just her begging and apologising and crying. She keeps insisting that all she did was kiss the guys, and she's never done anything like this before, and she promises it will never happen again. Part of me really wanted to believe her, but the problem is that this incident puts our entire relationship into doubt. I think she may be telling the truth, but again, the point is there is no way to know. If it is true that her friends pressured her to do it, then how can I believe they never did it before? We kept going around in circles because ultimately there is just no way I can be sure. She said that she would do anything, including cutting off her friends, and only ever drink around me. She really blasted her friends online, saying that if the party had stuck to the original plan, she would still be getting married, so maybe she already cut them off. All I can say is that at the moment, I am single, and I'm just going to live my life. Probably take some time to myself after getting out of a 4-year relationship. What's crazy is that a couple of her friends are also texting me, just to talk. I haven't responded yet because, well, it's hard to trust them too. Thanks again to everyone who expressed sympathy, and I hope none of you here need to deal with anything like this in the future. Wow, sounds like OP dodged a bullet there to me. What do you guys think about this one? Let me know in the comments. Alright, let's go to our next story. Okay, we're sticking with relationship advice again. This one was posted by a throwaway account, and it's titled, I think I have found my brother who ran away from home 9 years ago and we never found him, and I don't know how to approach him in case it's not him. A little background. My younger brother ran away from home when I was 14. Apparently my mother beat him very hard, and much, and told him to go away, and he's not her child anymore after he broke a new TV while playing football in the house. She says she didn't mean it and was just disciplining him, and said that in the heat of the moment. My brother was always one of those troublesome kids, carefree, little too much adventurous, but he had a good heart and I loved him very much. At first we thought he would just come back. Then hours went by. We started to get worried. After a day without him coming back, we started to search for him. We asked around, called the cops, and filed a missing persons report. We searched for him for a long time and never found him. His disappearance tore my family apart. My dad blamed my mum, and they divorced shortly after my 15th birthday. The relationship between my grandparents and my mum deteriorated. Fast forward to about a month ago, I got a job as an intern at a logistics company in my country. I am an assistant to a driver dispatcher. One of the driver's names caught my attention a week ago. It was exactly the same as my brother's. The driver came back about 3 days ago from his shipment, and I've been kind of observing him, and he kind of looks like my brother. He resembles my dad, and I don't know if I'm the one who's making this observation because I want to, or the resemblance is actually there. Now I've been sleepless for days, wondering if I should approach him. What if it's not him? I'm a shy person and not really good with people. Will he think I'm crazy? Should I at least do some more homework before I approach him? And what if it is him? Should I tell my parents? Just to clarify, I was still at school when it happened and my dad was still at work. That's when we came home to find him gone. Wow, personally I'd probably just go straight up and ask. That saves a lot of hassle. But I do realise people probably aren't as extroverted as me. I don't know, any other ideas? Let's go to the comments. Yes, he ran away from your mother, not you. But are you willing to face the possibility of him hating everyone, the big sister who did not protect him, and the father who allowed his wife to hurt him? Opie replied, I actually came back from school to find my mum still furious. That's when, about an hour later, she started to get worried. And my dad was still at work by then. Sorry if I hadn't clarified. Before you approach him, stop victim blaming him. Opie replies, I'm not victim blaming. I was just giving a description of who he is to get a little insight. He gets into a lot of trouble, even at school, and with neighbours, and I have to defend him sometimes at school and even home. I know it may sound like victim blaming, but let me explain this in a way where I don't sound like that. He liked having fun and taking risk to chase that adrenaline. Sometimes those impulsive decisions weren't really the best, or have the best outcomes. I'm curious to know, how does your mum feel about the disappearance of her son years later? Does she blame herself? Does she know what she did? Opie replies, she went into deep depression. She still blames herself up to now. Plus she has also lost almost her whole family, and almost everyone blames her. We had an argument once, and she blurted out that if she could take it all back, and it didn't happen, she would take it in a heartbeat, and I almost felt sorry for her. Okay, on to the update. So, some of you wanted an update, and here it is. So I approached him a day after the post, using some of the ways you suggested, and it went better than I had anticipated. He recognised me even before I could tell him everything I'd rehearsed. Apparently he had looked me up online, and since I have little going on in any social media except for lurking on Twitter and Reddit, he could hardly find anything concrete. So the only pictures of me he could find were from my best friend's Instagram post a couple of months ago, and he knew her and were kind of friends. I asked why he didn't reach out, and well, he said that he was afraid that I was mad at him and will never forgive him for running away and leaving me. I was completely taken back by that, because I never saw it that way. I was a bit mad having me worried about him for years, but finding him alive and well is completely dwarfing any anger, sad and disappointment I had. And those who may wonder what happened after he left home, it's not been easy for him. Being homeless, abusing drugs, dealing drugs, serving jail time a couple of times, depression, suicidal thoughts, but it all worked out for him when an old family and charity program found him at 16 and helped him out. He didn't want to come back, but was forced to deal drugs. It's common in my country where young kids, either orphans or abductees, are forced to sell drugs. Well, we've been hanging out a lot. There have been a lot of tears and catching up to do. He asked about my dad because he tried to look for him too, but he left the country a few years back with his new wife and kids, but he's not ready to face it just yet. For my mum, he said he forgave her, but he doesn't want to see her just yet. I'm glad I met my family. Thanks to all of you who gave me advice. Wow, sad for the brother, but pretty hopeful in the end there, I think. Good to hear that they all kind of got out at the other side. Let me know what you guys think about this one. My fiance got a face tattoo without talking to anyone. I am honestly stunned right now. My fiancée Kim, I have just learned, is completely insane. She took some days off work this week, sick, and avoided seeing most people in person. She claimed she was feeling sick and just wanted to stay home alone. She has never given me any indication that she would lie about this in the 6 years we've been together. No one in her family had any worries because she was a stable individual who would never do anything crazy. She got a face tattoo. She took 3 sick days from work to recover from the fact that she got a face tattoo. She told no one of this plan beforehand. I have never, in our time together, been talked to about tattoos by Kim. She showed no indication that she was even interested in getting any. I was not even the first to learn. Her sister visited her because she got worried after Kim cancelled meeting with her for lunch on her 3rd day sick and got the grand reveal. She didn't tell anyone beforehand because she didn't want to be talked out of it, and hid the results because the swelling and redness was so bad that we would react badly and not be able to understand the artistic meaning. Kim is Asian American. She got Japanese symbols going down her forehead and under her eye. I don't know the meaning of them. I don't really know if I care to know the meaning of them. Kim's parents are Japanese immigrants. According to her sister, who is nice enough to inform me of this whole debacle, this is a big no-no in Japanese culture. Tattoos have links to crime and are looked down upon. Her parents are beside themselves, and that is a whole other set of drama I can't even begin to approach. Kim talked to me last night about it, and acted offended and started a fight because I told her it was absolutely insane of her to do this. She works a public-facing job. She talks face-to-face with clients in the financial industry. The minute her boss finds out, the career that she went to school for will be over. She actually didn't consider her job, or family, or me at all, and decided a long time ago she was going to express herself freely without any concerns. I'm worried about her right now. This is not normal. She blocked my number after our fight and is ghosting me and her sister because we're trying to help. But dear Lord, this is far beyond me. I cannot comprehend what I'm even supposed to do right now. Kim's lost her mind. Is there any chance I'll be happily married to this? A woman who went and got a face tattoo and hid the fact because she knew we would all talk her out of it? Dear Lord, I really need to run, don't I? Let's look at the comments. I'm sitting next to my friend who took over her father's tattoo shop, and one of the big 3 rules that she took from her dad and has the tattoo artists under her employment follow is no face tattoos as a person's first tattoo. If she's acting this completely out of character, there might actually be something wrong. I have no idea how to approach it, but I'd say she needs to see a doctor and be evaluated. I'm sorry, it's a very helpless feeling. This is really odd. It sounds like a terrible decision to me as I'm not a face tattoo fan, but my bias aside, she's hiding it from you and her family. She hadn't been talking about getting it. It sounds like a very rash decision. I would try to get her help if she's in crisis, but you also need to think hard about marrying someone who is acting out of impulse like this. I have a friend who is a tattoo artist, and they refer to neck tattoos as life ruiners and would never put a piece on someone's face as first ink. Usually a good artist will try to encourage first tattoos to be in easily covered or less obvious places. I can't even imagine where she found someone to do it. Yeah, I'm not a face tattoo fan either. Like, each to their own, I guess, but yeah, this seems like a really strange decision. Okay, on to a first update. Wow, this got some attention, huh? I read through the replies, but I can't really respond to all of you, so I'll just update here. The engagement is pretty much off. Kim has told me she never wants to see me again, and I woke up this morning with her ring and a box of stuff I gave her on my porch. I don't know what's going on with her. Her sister and family have been trying their best, but nothing on their end is working. I brought up to her sister the idea this is a mental breakdown, and they're looking into getting her help. It's painfully slow, considering Kim is not responding to anything and is refusing to talk to anyone. I really don't know what to say here, I guess. To answer some questions, Kim is 29 and I'm 28. In the 7 years I've known her, she has never acted like this at all. She had a good relationship with her parents, and while they were a bit overbearing at times, they supported her in going to college and getting a career rather than starting a family. From what I've gathered, they probably would have been fine with any tattoo she got as long as it was not on her face, neck or hands. Even then, this kind of behaviour is as far from Kim as I could have imagined. She just lost her mind out of nowhere. It's not like I can do anything about it either. She's blocked my number and does not want to see me. I'm just at a loss for words. One day I'm engaged, and the next I'm not, and my ex has a face tattoo. Okay, let's go straight to the last update. 8 months later. About 9 months ago, my ex-fiancée Kim got a face tattoo without telling anyone. This was just the start of her doing everything she could to ruin her life. She broke up with me and called off our 7-year relationship when I questioned why she did this. She worked in a client-facing job for an incredibly large financial institution and was let go within a month of showing back up for work after getting the tattoo. I kept in contact with Kim's sister, hoping for some news. They tried to get her help, as they thought she was having some kind of psychotic break. However, she eventually called the police on her own family, claiming they were harassing her. After that, I decided to just walk away. Kim didn't just destroy her own life. When she broke up with me, I felt numb. I knew this wasn't Kim doing this. I wanted to believe deep down that Kim was always like this, always this impulsive crazy who would just ruin her life by getting a face tattoo. I tried to convince myself that I had not lost a wonderful woman who I had spent 7 years of my life with. However, the person who made these choices was not Kim. The woman who told me over the phone she hated my guts for not supporting her. The woman who wrote she hated me and only ever stayed with me out of pity. That was not the woman I asked to marry. That was not Kim. That was someone who I came to find out was having a mental breakdown that resulted in months of bad decisions that will affect the rest of her life. The day I walked away and told her sister I could not deal with it anymore was the worst day of my life. It hit me like a train. The numbness and denial of what I had lost hit me all at once. I almost quit my own job and moved back home to my parents. I can only thank my boss for being so understanding that she let me take 4 weeks off to deal with what happened. She and the rest of my team went far beyond what should ever be expected of coworkers and management, that it makes me realize how close I was to leaving a job I actually enjoy. I never moved on from Kim, but I came to accept what had happened. I thought I was okay, until 2 weeks ago, I got a call from Kim. She had blocked my number and done everything she could to remove me from her life. My mind had just blanked when I saw it was her calling. I picked up, and it was actually her. We didn't talk. I did not know what to say to her. We decided she would come over to my place, and we talked. The tattoo is still there, but she's covering it up now with makeup. She says when she has the funds, she's going to look into getting it removed if possible. She has lost a lot of weight since I last saw her. She's not been able to find a new job, and she'll probably need to move to a new city for that. She wasn't the Kim I'd fallen in love with. She was like a shell of her, something that just wasn't there anymore that used to be. Kim told me what had happened. The year leading up to the tattoo was awful for her. The stress of everything seemed to pile up more and more. I'll respect her and keep much of what she told me secret. However, the thing that is important is that she secretly started doing methamphetamines to keep her performance up at work and to deal with everything. And one day, she just out of nowhere decided she hated everything about her life. She explained why at the time she wanted the tattoo. It doesn't really make much sense, but a lot of what she was thinking at the time didn't. And from there, she just lost control of everything. I won't talk about what happened after she disappeared, but it's not pretty. There are things she did that will follow her for the rest of her life. It explained a lot, but it did not make things any better. We talked for nearly the entire night. She didn't leave my place till almost 4 a.m. Since then, she said that she wants to try and get back together with me. She admitted she knows things cannot be the same, yet she wants to try. I haven't talked to anyone about what I'm about to say yet. I've held off on talking to Kim about it because it feels selfish. But there's something about the way Kim acts about the way it affected my life that irks me. When we talked that night, she said that I was lucky she cut me off. I was lucky I didn't get put through any of this. I was lucky that my crazy ex wasn't at my door screaming or showing up to my work and causing a scene. She acts like my life wasn't affected at all. I told her what happened after she left, how much it hurt, how I almost quit my job and moved across the country. Her response was dismissive, like because I didn't go through with that, I don't get to complain. She acted like because I was not the one with the tattoo on her face, I don't get to act like it had a long-lasting effect on me. She didn't even apologize for the explicit and hateful note she left with my things when she returned them, or for the phone call where she called me a manipulative, selfish jerk who only wanted her for her body, or even just for breaking up with me. She knows she was wrong to do it, but it's almost as if she's acting like because she had a breakdown, I can't hold her accountable for what she did to me because it wasn't long-lasting. I texted her last night, saying how hard it was for me when she left. She ignored it entirely and tried to move on. No acknowledgement at all. I don't know why, but it hurt me. It hurt me so much. I feel like I did back when all those emotions finally hit me after she left. I wish she had just never come back into my life now. I wish I didn't know what happened. I wish I hadn't picked up the call, because it hurts. But a part of me feels like I'm being selfish or complaining too much, that I don't get to feel this way, because I'm not the one who had the mental breakdown. Oh man, nah, it sounds like Opie's fiancé, or ex-fiancé rather, has a little bit more working out to do. She's still in denial and not taking any accountability for her actions. Opie's still pretty young, I think he can move on from this. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Alright, let's go to our next story. Okay, this one was posted on the Relationship Advice subreddit. It was written by a throwaway account, and it's titled, How do I, 38 male, reassure my wife, 34 female, that I'm not having an affair with my assistant, 24 female, at work? So, about 6 months ago, I got a promotion at my job, and with the promotion I also got an assistant, who I'll call Marcy. When I mentioned to my wife, who I'll call Emma, that I was getting an assistant, she did make a couple of jokes about sleeping with my secretary, but I didn't think anything about it at the time. Looking back, I'm thinking that she was actually being serious and was already suspicious from the start, just of the whole concept. But what happened to make me make this post is that over the last few weeks, I noticed Emma acting like she had a problem with Marcy. If I talked about my day at work and I mentioned Marcy's name, Emma rolled her eyes or made a snarky comment. I stopped mentioning Marcy, but then Emma would ask about her specifically and still have some rude little comment to make. So finally I asked Emma if something had happened. I was thinking that maybe she had called for me and Marcy had been short with her on the phone or something. Instead, Emma brought up a random Friday back in January when she stopped by wanting to surprise me by taking me out to lunch and, quote, caught me having lunch with Marcy. So to explain, Marcy and I have a weekly meeting on Fridays where we go over our projects and whatnot for the week, and during these meetings we order lunch and eat in my office. To me this seems completely normal and professional, but Emma thought it signified that we were having an affair. I tried to explain to Emma that I don't follow this logic, but she just kept saying that it obviously looked suspicious, and then she brought up another time when I was late coming home and didn't have a good excuse as to why not. I don't even remember the night that she's talking about. I can only assume I was late because of traffic or something like that, because I certainly wasn't cheating on her or doing anything else nefarious. But what can I do to reassure Emma that her concerns are unfounded? We've been together for 4 years, married for 1.5 years, and I've never cheated on her or done anything to make her think I was untrustworthy. I have no idea how to reason with her here, because from what I can see she's basing all of this on the fact that she just doesn't like me having a female assistant, and I don't want to fire Marcy or anything like that just to make Emma feel better, because she's good at her job and hasn't done anything wrong either. Let's hear some suggestions in the comments. To me, these are potential signs that your wife is feeling insecure in your relationship and just happens to target your working relationship with Marcy. Has anything else changed in your work life, home life, quality time, or presence with your wife after your promotion other than you got an assistant? This is a tough one. First, make sure you reassure your wife that you love her and would never cheat on her, that you respect her too much, that if you ever felt differently, that she would be the first to know, not someone else. Remind her why you love her so much. Second, remind her that you like your job and were just promoted. The last thing you would do is act in an unprofessional manner. Point out your walls are glass, and you only ever meet with her at the office where everyone can see because you have nothing to hide. Say that you won't meet with her one-on-one outside of the office. Tell her she is that paranoid that she has access to your devices, but that you would hope that she trusted and respected you enough to not keep you under a microscope. Third, point out that you don't see Marcy in a romantic way. I'm only 34 and work at a university. I have a lot of students around me. There is no way I would ever humour being with someone that young. Your age gap is significant. Point that out to your wife. If Marcy is dating or married, tell your wife that. If you don't know if she does, say you know so little about her personal life because you don't even discuss personal matters like that. The last point I want to make is a delicate one. I would want to find a way to tell my spouse that these accusations are beneath them. She doesn't need to be jealous because she is a wonderful person, worthy of adoration and respect. These kinds of feelings have a way of eroding a relationship, that she either trusts you and your love for her, or she doesn't. That if her self-esteem is suffering, that she needs to put in the work to figure out why before she does irreparable damage to your relationship. Be mature, be calm. Don't belittle her feelings, but don't let yourself be bullied into surveillance or firing an innocent young woman. It's hard enough for young women to get respect in the workplace. This is controversial, but one time right after we had a baby, I was uncharacteristically, preemptively jealous of an innocuous relationship my spouse did not even have with a neighbour, and I asked her not to hang around with that person. It was irrational, and she said okay, because she didn't care, and I needed it at that moment, and it was fine. And 6 months later, I came to my senses, and now we have them over for barbecues. I guess I'm just suggesting that, even though she's acting a little nutty about the situation, it might reflect some deeper insecurities or trends in your relationship, so keep reassuring her. In general, look for opportunities to deepen your connection with her. Don't stop mentioning the assistant, and don't fire her obviously, but even the sanest people are sometimes a little wrong, and marriage is a long haul. Yeah, great anecdote and great comment, I think. Let's go to the update. Hello everyone, I have an update on the situation with my wife. After I posted and read everyone's advice, it really just solidified my worry that I couldn't do anything to reason with my wife because her concerns were unreasonable in the first place. Everything I could think of, or that someone suggested to prove to her that I wasn't having an affair with Marcy or anyone, was either something I'd already told my wife or something that, the more I thought about it, I didn't feel it was fair that I should have to convince her of this at this point in our relationship. So instead, I sat down with her and just explained to her how hurt it made me feel that she didn't trust me after 4 years together, where I'd never done anything to make her doubt me, and that it wasn't fair for me to be on trial when I hadn't done anything wrong, and she didn't have any good reason to think that I had. And then I asked her if she really honestly thought I was cheating on her, or if there was something else going on that she wasn't telling me about. She got really upset by the last part, because she thought I was accusing her of cheating, which turned the conversation into a fight, but then afterwards she at least finally understood how I felt, and then after that she apologized and actually started talking to me about what's been going on in her head lately. So long story short, there were really 3 factors that were making my wife insecure about my working relationship with Marcy, some of which were things that commenters on my first post guessed correctly, and none of them were really things that had anything to do directly with our relationship. First, one of my wife's good friends got divorced last year, which I knew about, but I didn't know any of the details as to what happened. My wife told me that the cause was her husband having an affair with the co-worker that he told his wife not to worry about. Apparently, supporting her friend through that situation was feeding into my wife's insecurities about me having a new assistant. She actually admitted that part of the reason she decided to stop by my office that one time was also because she wanted an excuse to get a look at Marcy, and that's why she got so angry about us having lunch together. Second, my wife says that after switching to the new gym, she feels more insecure about her body and looks than she ever used to, because she's the least fit person in all of her classes now. I did suggest that she go back to her old gym where she feels more comfortable, but she says she'd rather power through until she can catch up to everyone at the new gym, and I'm just going to let her do what she wants on this one. Third, apparently my wife had been having weird menstrual symptoms for the past few months, but she didn't think it was anything to be worried about. I got her to go to the doctor, and it turns out she's starting menopause. She agreed that her hormones being out of whack is likely a big part of why she got so unreasonably upset about all of this. So after we talked, my wife said she'd stop bringing up Marcy, and so far she hasn't mentioned it again. And then after she saw her doctor, she also started a mild antidepressant that's supposed to help with the emotional symptoms of menopause, but it's only been a couple of weeks, so I'm not sure if I've noticed any effects yet. But we're past the original issue. It seems like it was a lot less to do with my wife not trusting me, and a lot more to do with just a bunch of internal stresses that she was dealing with that happened to result in her getting fixated on this one issue. Alrighty folks, that's the end of that story. Yeah, I find there's often a reasonable explanation for these sorts of things. Good to see that they were able to smooth things out and work through it. Let me know your thoughts about this one down below. Either way, that's it from me today. Hope you guys enjoyed those stories. Thanks for making it to the end, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.